God's advice today. Have you ever felt that God is trying to speak to you, yet in the busyness of life, His signs go unnoticed? This message invites you to pause, reflect, and open your heart. Perhaps this is exactly what you needed to hear today. Watch until the end with openness, and if these words touch you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to receive more messages like this. Don't forget to check the pinned comment for a 1-minute prayer and a recommended message to help strengthen your faith even more. God said, "My child, listen to these words with an open heart, for you did not come here by chance. It was I who brought you, because the time has come for me to reveal what has been hidden. You have felt the weight of trials, the uncertainties that surround you, the tears that seem to have no meaning, but none of this escaped my sight. Every cry of yours was recorded in heaven, every silence of yours was heard by my Spirit. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, "I chose you before the world saw your birth, and I set you apart for a purpose that is now beginning to unfold." Do you feel ready for a deep change in your life and in the lives of those you love? Sometimes all we need is one small step of faith to open the doors of abundance, peace, and blessings that God has already reserved for us. A simple 1-minute prayer can be the beginning of a spiritual journey that transforms the inner world and reflects in the outer one. If you desire to attract more light, balance, and prosperity, both spiritual and material, click on the link pinned in the first comment. There you will find a simple, lovingly guided practice that can help you connect more deeply with the divine presence in your life. I know there are days when hope feels distant and faith becomes a fragile thread trying to hold your weary heart, but today I tell you, do not fear. I am moving the pieces in your favor, even when everything seems still. The time of your pain will not last forever, for what was being prepared in silence will soon be revealed in the light. You are part of my plan, chosen and loved from the beginning. So rise up, wipe your tears, and trust. I, your God, do not fail, and what I have promised, I will fulfill before your eyes, so you may know that heaven is still writing your story. You have walked through valleys where the light seemed distant, wondering why so many doors closed before you. But, my child, nothing happened without purpose. Every door that closed was a wall raised by my loving hand. It was I who shut them, not to punish you, but to protect you. I saw the paths that would fascinate you yet lead to ruin. I saw people who appeared to be a blessing but would bring torment to your soul. That is why, before evil could reach you, I hid you beneath my mantle. When you thought isolation was abandonment, it was my embrace surrounding you. While everyone left, I drew you closer to me. I needed your silence to speak to you, your solitude to mold you. Every step you thought was in vain was a strategic turn toward the destiny I prepared for you. Today I tell you, nothing was lost. The doors I closed made room for those only heaven can open. Comment, God hid me to protect me. His silence was the sound of His mercy. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Psalm 126 verse 5. I saw when you planted seeds of faith even in exhaustion, when you smiled through pain, when you forgave without receiving apologies. No act of yours went unnoticed. While human eyes ignored your effort, I recorded every gesture in the book of life. The harvest to come will not be small, for the soil of your pain has become fertile ground for miracles. I did not leave you waiting in forgetfulness, but in preparation. The time when I seemed silent was the time I worked the most. You refined your heart like gold in the fire, and now it shines before me. The winds that tried to extinguish your flame only strengthened it. The tears you thought were useless watered the promises that now begin to bloom. I turn wounds into wisdom and losses into testimony. What you planted in sacrifice, you will reap in abundance. Comment, I trust in God's love, He is my refuge and my reward. My child, you are neither late nor forgotten. Every step was counted, every waiting carefully measured. The time you thought was wasted was the time I was working silently within you. I did not deny you blessings, I matured them. Before enlarging your path, I needed to strengthen your roots. If I had given you everything when you asked, you would have lost what is essential, your communion with me. The storm you feared was not punishment but revelation. It showed you that strength is not in control but in surrender. You have discovered that you do not need human applause when you have my constant gaze upon you. Now your steps are guided by the wisdom born of pain overcome. Your heart has learned what only the desert can teach, that I am enough. So walk in peace. The delay has ended, the time has come. I myself will go before you and make your path new. Comment, God is never late, He arrives when my heart is ready for the miracle. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23 verse 4. Yes, my child, I was with you in the darkest valley, when the voices of fear tried to convince you that you were alone. I saw you on your knees, weary, your heart heavy, your eyes filled with tears, wondering if I still cared for you. I was there, in the silence of your room, when the world forgot you and your soul drowned in loneliness. It was I who collected your tears, who held your body when hope seemed to die. When you thought it was over, I wrapped you in my spirit and renewed your breath. There was never distance between us, only the noise of pain trying to blind you to my presence. Today I tell you, nothing you went through was in vain. Every tear watered a new purpose, every wound drew you closer to me. You were tested, yes, but also protected. And now the valley that once frightened you will become the testimony of my faithfulness. Comment, even in the darkest valley, God is with me, and His presence sustains me. Did you know that there is an effective method to attract greater financial prosperity? This technique can help transform your deep-seated beliefs and change the way you perceive reality. It had a profound impact on my life, and we would like to invite you to explore this special practice. When we trust that God wants to act in our lives, we gain the courage to ask Him directly. God desires to bless each of us in a unique and wonderful way. That's why it's important to seek His blessings with faith and confidence, believing that He has a special plan for you. If you would like to support our work and the team dedicated to bringing content that inspires and transforms, we invite you to check out our product. The link is available in the first comment, so you can discover how this technique can also help you on your journey. Your contribution helps us continue sharing messages that make a difference. We deeply appreciate your trust and support. Now, my child, listen carefully. The time of waiting is coming to an end. Everything that once seemed still is about to move. The promises you thought were distant are quietly approaching, like the dawn breaking through the night. Heaven has moved on your behalf, and what once seemed impossible will begin to flow naturally. Nothing was delayed, it was my perfect timing shaping your inner being. While you wept, I was arranging the backstage of your victory. While you felt forgotten, I was preparing hearts and paths. Every delay was disguised protection, every pause a seed being nurtured. And now, when you look back, you will understand that the interval was not the end, but the preparation for a new beginning. The promise I made has not expired, it has simply matured. What is about to blossom will be so great that you will finally understand why you had to wait. Comment: God is never late. He arrives at the perfect time, when my heart is ready. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, I have a plan, and it is greater than any pain you have endured. I know there are moments when you look around and see only chaos, but I assure you, from within that disorder, I am birthing new life. What seems like loss to you is actually liberation. What you think is the end is only the beginning. When I took from you what you loved, it was to make room for what would truly build you up. I did not punish you, I healed you. The faith I ask of you is not one that depends on what you see, but one that stands firm when nothing makes sense. I turn your falls into lessons and your farewells into new beginnings. And what I am preparing for you is peace, not harm. You have not been forgotten, you have been repositioned. What is coming will bring purpose to all that once wounded you. Hold on, my child. The story I am writing for you ends in victory. I want you to know, nothing was wasted. Not a single pain, not a single tear, not a single moment of waiting. Everything served a purpose. Everything worked together for your good. Even the mistakes you made, I turned into lessons of wisdom. The enemy thought he had defeated you, but every fall only brought you closer to me. You emerged from the desert stronger, wiser, and more sensitive to my voice. And now, I am sending you into a new season where you will no longer walk in survival, but in abundance. What once was a battle will become your testimony. What once was lack will become provision. What once was a wound will now become healing for others. You were broken, but now you will be a source of comfort. Every scar on your soul will be a reminder of my mercy. Every tear you shed has watered the ground where new life will bloom. You did not lose time, you were being refined. The fire that once burned you will now shine through you. Be at peace, for I have seen it all and used it all for your good. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 30 verse 5, My child, the morning light has already begun to rise over you. The darkness that surrounded you is fading away. I heard your cry. I saw your faithfulness when no one else noticed. I watched your hidden prayers, your quiet surrender, your kindness even in pain. Now the time of restoration has come. What was taken from you unjustly, I return with honor. What was lost, I will restore multiplied. I am releasing divine acceleration upon you. What once took years will happen in days. Where there was delay, there will now be advancement. Where there was silence, there will now be songs of joy. Prepare yourself, for my hand is moving upon your life. The doors that were closed are opening. The opportunities that seemed gone are being revived. You will see my faithfulness unfold before your eyes. My beloved child, do not fear the future, for I am already there. The Archangel Michael stands guard at your door, protecting your home, your mind, and your destiny. While many plotted your downfall, I was preparing your elevation. While others spoke words of curse, I was declaring life over you. Nothing can stop what I have decreed. You were set apart from your mother's womb to carry my light into dark places. So when everything seems to fall apart, remember this: I am the God who works in the unseen, the God who fights for you while you sleep, the God who turns deserts into gardens and mourning into dancing. Today I declare, the season of pain has ended, and a new chapter begins before you. Walk in peace, beloved child, for my spirit goes before you, straightening paths, breaking walls, and opening doors no man can shut. And when you look back, you will understand, in every step, every loss, every silence, I was with you all along. Remember those moments when you said, "Lord, I can't go on anymore." I heard your voice and answered, "Yes, you can, because I am with you." When you felt broken, that was when I planted within you a seed, small, almost imperceptible, but powerful enough to sustain you when everything seemed to collapse. That seed was hope, and it was hope that kept you standing while the storms raged. I defended you from situations you never knew about, closed doors that would have hurt you, and removed people who seemed good but whose intentions were hidden. I moved paths, changed timings, delayed projects, and each apparent setback was, in truth, a form of protection. You did not understand my methods then, but now you will understand that my love is not revealed only through tender words, but through silent interventions that preserved you from falling. Every delay was a deliverance, every waiting period, a redirection. And even when you thought you had been forgotten, it was in the silence that I worked most for you. Nothing you have lived was by chance. Every pain, every tear, every loss had a hidden purpose, to shape your heart for what is coming. You walked through the fire, but you were not consumed, you were purified. What once hurt you now becomes wisdom. What once made you fall will now become the testimony of your victory. The wounds you thought would never heal, I closed with my own hands, and I turned each scar into a seal of my faithfulness. So I tell you, do not look back with bitterness, but with gratitude. Nothing was stolen, everything was transformed. What you thought you lost was only the shell of the new thing I was forming. There are gifts that only bloom in the desert, strength that awakens only in weakness. So do not fear the trials, for it was in them that I revealed who you truly are. Now, the fire that once burned your hope will become the flame that lights your path. And what once broke you now makes you shine with doubled intensity. Throughout all this time, I have been preparing a table before you, even in front of those who doubted, who mocked, who said your time was over. You did not see it, but I was arranging every detail. Everything that seemed still was actually being positioned. You were in a divine pause, not a setback. I set you apart, not to punish you, but to prepare you. There were moments when loneliness was your only shelter, and you cried believing you had been left behind. But the truth is that I hid you, because there were eyes that could not yet understand what I was about to do with you. Some could not bear the weight of the anointing I placed upon your life. Others would have tried to limit the reach of your dreams. So I removed you from certain places and closed cycles that no longer belonged to you. Every door that closed was a wall of protection, every farewell, a disguised liberation. Do not mourn what left, rejoice, because what is coming is infinitely greater. Now, my child, listen carefully, this is the time of fulfillment. The time when what was once a promise will become reality before your eyes. What was once only a word in the wind will now take shape in your hands. You will see doors open easily, paths widen, and unexpected people arise to favor you. But you will also see doors close, and do not be alarmed when that happens. For not every opportunity is meant for you to enter, some are necessary exits. There are places that no longer match your new essence. There are environments that have lost the sound of your spiritual frequency. I will lead you firmly, even when you do not understand why. And when you look back, you will realize that every step, every pause, every tear, was orchestrated by me with precision. For I am the author of your story, and nothing I have promised you will fail to come to pass. Even if the world seems to spin in chaos, even if the winds blow against you, remain in peace. For I am still in control of everything. And now I reveal to you the mystery of the delays. They were never a sign of forgetfulness, but of preparation. While you waited, I aligned hearts, connected paths, and restored areas within you that needed healing before the new could arrive. For I cannot place promises in a wounded heart without first teaching it how to care for what it will receive. That is why I refined you. I led you through seasons where everything seemed to collapse, when in truth I was building new foundations. The pressure you felt was the same that shapes a diamond. And now, what once was fragility will become authority. You will walk with a confidence that does not come from ego, but from my presence. The enemy tried to break you because he knew you were about to rise into a new dimension of purpose. But he can no longer stop you. For the light that guides you is mine, and the voice now speaking within you is the sound of my spirit. Rise up, my child, for the moment has come when the promises cease to be words and become living testimonies. What once made you cry will now make you sing. What once made you wait will now make you bloom. And when the world asks how you endured, you will simply say, "It was the love of God that sustained me." There were moments when you thought I had forgotten you, when silence stretched too long and your prayers seemed to vanish into the air. You watched others move forward, succeed, and receive what they had prayed for while you stood in the waiting, feeling unseen. You asked, "Lord, what am I doing wrong?" But I want you to understand, my child, it was never punishment, it was preparation. I was building in silence the kind of foundation that no storm could tear down. I was digging deep, strengthening your roots so that when the winds came, you would remain unshaken. Every delay, every closed door, every detour had a purpose beyond what your eyes could see. I was not withholding your blessing, I was shaping it, protecting it, aligning every piece so that when it finally reached you, it would not harm you but lift you. You asked me for acceleration, but I was giving you depth. You wanted movement, but I was forming maturity. For while you believed that nothing was happening, I was moving hearts, changing locations, and clearing the path of anything that could poison the promise I prepared for you. The no's that broke you were not rejections, they were redirections. Each one was my way of whispering, "I am saving you for something greater." I did not choose you for what is common, I set you apart for what is extraordinary. And the extraordinary always requires time. There are those who ran ahead of you, and yes, they seemed to arrive sooner, but they also burned out sooner. You, however, have been walking under the rhythm of my hand, and where human strength ends, divine grace begins. What I am giving you will not be born of coincidence but of divine favor. It will be undeniable that it came from me. Your name has been spoken in the heavens. I have commanded angels to move obstacles you did not even know existed. I have whispered your destiny into the atmosphere, and creation itself is aligning to fulfill what I have spoken. Soon you will see doors open, not all at once, but one by one, each at its appointed time. They will not open because you forced them, but because my grace commanded them to unlock. And when they do, you will understand that every moment of waiting, every tear, every stretch of silence was sacred, a divine pause before the unveiling. I know the process has been long and the nights heavy. There were days when even praying felt like too much, when your only prayer was a sigh, a quiet whisper, "Lord, please, do something." And yes, I did. You may not have recognized it, but I answered through the kindness of a stranger, through that unexpected peace that suddenly covered your heart when anxiety tried to consume you. That peace was not random, it was me. Every time you were about to break, I sent a calm that you couldn't explain. I was near when you cried silently, when you smiled to hide your pain, when you pretended to be strong but felt empty inside. I saw the hidden battles, the tears you wiped before anyone could see. I heard the thoughts you never dared to speak. You've been fighting wars no one knows about, but I've been fighting beside you. My angels stood guard around your bed when fear tried to creep in. My spirit interceded when you couldn't find words. Every breath you took in those dark hours was a reminder that I had not finished with you. And I tell you this today, nothing that was lost is truly gone. Everything the enemy tried to steal, I have preserved. What you thought was destroyed, I have stored and multiplied. You are entering a season of divine restoration. What was planted with tears will be harvested with joy. What was broken will be rebuilt with glory. What seemed over is only beginning under my power. As I once promised to open doors no one could close, I am now opening paths where you once saw only walls. I am breathing life into the dry places of your soul, and what looked barren will bloom again. Do not measure the future by what you have lost, measure it by what I am about to release. For I am not a God of subtraction, but of transformation. What left your hands was never wasted, it became a seed in my soil. And in due time, that seed will rise, stronger, purer, and more beautiful than before. Get ready, because in the coming days you will begin to see signs. They will not be random coincidences but confirmations that I am fulfilling what I spoke. You will begin to notice alignment, divine timing, favor in unexpected places. People will come into your life who carry answers to prayers you forgot you prayed. Circumstances that once seemed immovable will shift suddenly. It will be clear that it was not by your power but by mine. You have wondered why I allowed the struggle, why I did not intervene sooner. But every season of pain refined your heart. Every disappointment removed impurities that could not enter the next chapter. I watched you fight to stay faithful when it would have been easier to give up. I saw you stand firm even when others mocked your hope. You don't realize it yet, but your endurance has become a weapon. The enemy trembles at those who keep believing in the dark. That is why the attacks intensified, because you were closer to breakthrough than ever before. The pressure you felt was not destruction, it was birth. What I am bringing forth through you required travail. Now, the time of birthing has come. I have issued a command in the heavens, and it carries your name. It is not symbolic, it is a spiritual decree already in motion. That word is dismantling traps, silencing accusations, canceling sickness, stopping accidents, and breaking cycles of delay. I have already gone ahead of you. I removed the hidden snares you never saw. I dismantled the schemes meant to harm you. I tore away the invisible weight that made you wake up exhausted even after rest. I burned with holy fire every negative word spoken against your life, every curse, every unjust judgment, every whisper of envy. None of them will prosper, because your God neither sleeps nor fails. Even when darkness tried to touch what was yours, my hand moved faster. When they plotted against you, I surrounded you with a wall of fire. When they wished for your downfall, I lifted you higher. There were moments when you didn't understand why certain connections broke, why some people left, why things that seemed so certain suddenly crumbled. But those were my mercies disguised as endings. I removed what could have hindered your destiny. I took away what looked like stability but was truly limitation. You did not lose, you were rescued. There are things you could not see, but they were real. If you only knew how many times heaven moved to protect you, you would fall to your knees in awe. If you could see how my angels encamped around your home in the nights you felt fear, you would know you were never alone. You call it intuition, I call it my spirit warning you. You call it coincidence, I call it divine orchestration. My child, you have no idea the magnitude of the battles that were fought for your soul. But know this, the victory has already been written. Every force that rose against you has been defeated. Every accusation has been silenced in my court. Every tear you shed has been counted and turned into intercession that moves my heart. Now, lift your eyes. The season of silence is ending. The clouds that once covered your vision are dispersing, and clarity will come like the dawn. You will understand why it had to be this way. I was never punishing you, I was positioning you. I needed you to trust me when there was no evidence, to walk by faith when there was no sign, to love me not for what I could give but for who I am. And you did. You stayed. You endured. You kept believing, even when your heart was weary. And because of that, I am breathing new life into you. Your strength will return. Your dreams will awaken. The oil of joy will replace the ashes of grief. You will see my fingerprints on every page of your story, even the painful ones. Soon, the testimony will speak louder than the tears ever did. People will ask how you survived, and you will answer, because God was with me. They will look at you and see restoration, grace, and power. And you will know deep within your soul, I never forgot you. I never abandoned you. Every moment, I was writing redemption into your story. So, rest now. Let go of the weight you've been carrying. The battle is no longer yours, it is mine. I am bringing beauty out of your brokenness, purpose out of your pain, and victory out of your waiting. And when the promise unfolds before your eyes, you will finally understand, nothing was wasted, nothing was lost, it was all part of the divine design. With love, God. I hope this message has been an inspiration to you. If it touched your heart, write Amen in the comments and share it with someone who also needs to hear this word. I invite you to click on the first comment, where you will find a special prayer and a suggestion to strengthen your spiritual journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more inspiring content like this. See you tomorrow.